Welcome to my channel, Divinely Guided Wisdom 1111. My name is Judy. Thank you for tuning in for a moment of serenity, wisdom, love, and light. Inspiration for today's message came from a motivational seminar that I attended on the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California in my younger years. And the motivational speaker presented an inspirational example of the power of our thoughts and mind. A powerful and timeless example and visual image of the power of the mind. The speaker said, imagine if I placed a board 20 feet long and a foot wide on the floor, and I asked you to walk from one end of the board to the other. Well, chances are you would freely walk from one side to the other, no problem. Confident that there's no danger, you would feel positive and you would feel confident. Imagine now if I raised the board 3 feet off the ground. It's the same board, 20 feet long and a foot wide. But the fact that it's 3 feet off the ground, you would begin to think and allow a little bit of fear or discernment about the fact that you're up in the air and there could be the possibility of losing your footing and falling off. However, most people would probably make the decision to walk across the board, as was done successfully the first time when it was on the floor. Now, imagine in your mind if I placed the board 20 feet in the air. It's the same board, the same width, the same length, and you've successfully walked from one end of the board to the other twice before. But the fact that it's 20 feet in the air, your mind now is allowing fear to filtrate your thoughts. You're high in the air, you don't know if you could successfully navigate from one side to the other. And probably most people would decide not to walk from one side to the other with it 20 feet in the air. This is one compelling example of how we allow fear to limit the choices we make in life. In reality, no one limits us. We limit ourselves. You have to ask yourself, how much power do you want to give to fear? We have the power to shift our thoughts to the positive belief in the ability to have new experiences without negative consequences. Remember, everything we do in life starts with a single thought. This revelation revealed to me that there are two basic emotions, love or fear. And we hold the power over whether we choose to come from love or fear. I wrote a poem, which is part of my the book that I'm writing, that I want to share with you at this moment. It's called Think of Life as a Wishing Well. Sometimes we think of life as a wishing well. If we pour out our thoughts, dreams, and desires, that they will blossom, come to fruition, and return to us in the form of happiness and fulfillment. In reality, life is a journey. We choose our path, and the only thing we really have control over is how we respond to the challenges that befall us along the way. No one is an exception to painful experiences or life challenges which are actually a prime opportunity to learn, grow, and develop wisdom and grace in the face of anguish and pain. If we choose a path that does not bring us to a place of peace and harmony, there is always a new opportunity to redirect our choices that will lead us to a better place, a place of grace with love, harmony, and joy at the center of our thoughts and actions. This path comes with the responsibility to show compassion and love to others that cross our path, and leads us to enlightenment and a deeper joy for the essence of life and its many lessons and teachers. All good choices come from a calm and clear mind. I want to share a tool with you that I use when I feel overwhelmed with confusion, chaos, and my mind is not in a calm state. I stop what I'm doing and I find a quiet space. Sometimes that may even be stepping into the restroom, who knows, wherever you can find a moment to yourself. I have also used it in the car when I'm not driving, of course, when I'm parked. But in your quiet space, close your eyes and visualize a circle filled with chaos. Everything is swirling all around you, and you're right in the center of this circle. Then, in my mind's eye, I see myself step backwards out of the circle. Now I'm observing. I'm looking into the circle. I still see all the chaos and confusion, but I am in a calm space as an observer now, seeing the confusing energies. And it gives you time to calm your mind and clear your mind and to think. You can see and think about what the situation is, and it gives you time to think about what you want to do next. Do you want to calmly think it over? Do you decide to just take a break and approach it when you're in a better, calmer state? Whatever you choose, when you actually have a state of calm and clear in your mind, then you can move forward. You can move forward and decide what is the best way for you to approach or discuss, or whatever path you think is the best way to handle the situation. But I know for a fact that all good choices come from a calm and clear mind. We must remember that, if we're at the peak of emotion, that it is not the time to make an important decision. I want to share an experience with you that I had where I actually used the wisdom of thought. When you remember that everything in life starts with a single thought, you realize how powerful that is. We choose the thoughts that we want to put energy and action into, and we allow thoughts that fill our mind that are not something that we want to put energy, we allow them to flow past us. The mind is like a computer. It's giving you information constantly. You see with all of your senses, your eyes, your hearing, your your voice, your touch, your feel. It gives you information, and then you choose which information you want to put energy into. The experience that I would like to share with you is when my husband passed. I thought that I understood, because he had lung cancer and he had 2 years of that disease. I thought I understood that at some point that his journey would end, and I thought I had accepted that. But when he actually passed, surprisingly enough to my mind, I just was overwhelmed with sadness and grief, and I really surprised myself that I hadn't accepted that I would lose him. So I was working at the time, and I wanted to seek help to try to process through, or begin the process of going through my grief and expressing how I was feeling. And at the time, the only way that I could do that was to go into a program that through a psychiatrist. It was basically a program that went for 2 weeks, where you go all day, every day, and it gives you the opportunity to start to express all the feelings that you have, so that you can start to heal. And when I entered the program, I was overwhelmed with, it was a group of about 20 people, and much to my surprise, the majority of the people that were in this program had come from a hospitalization for trying to take their life. A lot of them had a drug or alcohol background. And when I was first in the group, which was run by a psychiatrist or psychologist, they rotated in and out, I had never experienced a situation where I had been with individuals that were experiencing mental instability. And I began to have great compassion listening to their stories, but I was overwhelmed with the reality of the thoughts that many people had, which I had never had any exposure to in my entire life. And I wanted to not look horrified, so I was putting all my energy into trying to be calm and peaceful to help them, but it was frightening. And I thought, my circumstances didn't really match the circumstances of the majority of the people that were in the group. And I was driving home, and all of a sudden I realized that if God placed me in this group, that to give me the help that I need to start the healing process, that quite possibly I also could be helpful to others, because oftentimes that's how God works. And in that moment, I changed my perspective of why I was there, and that allowed me to just be open and experience whatever came day to day in this particular circumstance as I attended this program. And by having an open mind, I didn't block myself from learning and growing, and it did allow me to start to express how I was feeling, which is the beginning step of healing, whether you have mental instability, grief, or any kind of major issue. During the program, the psychologist would call upon me and say, "What do you hear?" After somebody would speak. And in the beginning, I was thinking in my mind, wow, I just, all I can do is just express my own thoughts. And I don't know if that's sufficient, but that's how I'm going to do that. And I would say whatever it was that crossed my mind while they were speaking. I hear pain, I hear fear, and whatever would be in my mind, I would share. By the end of the program, I was graduating on the last day, and I was going to continue my grief counseling in a different private setting. And so many people in the group came up to me and said how much they would miss my being there, and the thoughts that I shared really helped them, and that they would be sad that I would be leaving the group. And I thought that was beautiful confirmation that I was in the right place. I was in the right place to receive help for my loss, and also the blessing was that some of the things that I shared with the others, and that they shared what their experiences were, I was also able to in some way help them. And I was really, it turned out to be an amazing experience. So my thought would be that anytime you can recognize that it's not just sometimes about one thing. There are many things to be considered, and if we open our mind where we can fully experience new things and recognize that they all have value, then it blesses our life and others. Remember, you have power over your thoughts. You can choose what you want to put your energy into and what you want to let flow past you, which impact the choices you make in life. Thank you for tuning in. Let your light shine bright. Wishing you love and light.